Welcome back to another episode of Under the Floorboard. Today we have got not one but two brilliant guests on. We have Lucas Houston and Rio McLaughlin from Landmark Investments. Hello, guys.
How you doing? He's all right. I didn't know that were surnames, by the way. I was quite surprised.
I've known you for about 2 years now, and you don't even know my surname.
I was actually hoping I pointed at the right person.
Trying to remember who's who.
I know. But I know, guys, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
I think, obviously, I wouldn't say I've seen you grow. It seems pretty weird when you say that, but from you getting into it to like absolute grafting week in, week out, plus still having jobs, young guys where you'll have a lot of other distractions as well to kind of pull off as well. And you've actually done really, really well to get to where you are now and stuff. So it's good.
Not quite there yet, but getting there.
It's still, mate, there's been a lot of things you've been doing in terms of deals, talking to investors, things that maybe younger folk. I mean, what are you, early 20s?
I'm 20, he's just turned 21.
21, didn't it? So there we are. But I mean,
it's impressive.
For me, like, to get started, like, what kind of like sparked your interest in property from a young age? Because when I was 20, 21, property wasn't, on my, eyesight. So from a young age, like, what made you one, get the property, and then one come together as kind of Landmark?
It was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? So weird. It's weird how we started doing it. So I was an electrician, an apprentice electrician, and you were still in school. Yep. So I left school when I was like 16, just working on a building site, and I absolutely hated it. And you were still obviously doing exams and stuff, but you never really wanted to go down a kind of corporate route, didn't you know?
Nah, never wanted to go to uni. But sort of Lucas got to a point where he was like wanting like more in life. If he wasn't enjoying his apprenticeship, he was wanting more in life. And I didn't really want to go down the sort of uni route. So we were looking about for other avenues. We were seeing a lot on social media. People are making like funny money. Like that's when sort of trading sort of burst onto the scene. And so we were like, right, people are doing this and they're not super geniuses. And then we kind of looked into it, trading and crypto and whatever. And then Lucas sort of came up with a genius idea. Honestly, we still can't believe that this is the way it planned out. He was like, why don't we go into like properties and I'll like say, oh, that's wrong and like that needs that work and we'll try and get the price off it and then we'll try and sell it to somebody, right? And that is so weird how it planned out. But we sort of done research on it.
So when MD asks, we say that I invented property sourcing.
That's almost like assisted sales.
The plan was I was going to use my kind of trade experience that I'd built over the years of working on building sites to go and find defects in properties and sell them on. There was no real thought behind it, but it was just a general idea. Then it took you to kind of
we looked into it and obviously found out that this is something people do. Like people are making good money.
This is an actual thing.
And it was a major light bulb moment for us because it was like trading's just numbers. Trading's lines up and down. That's hard for me to relate to personally. I'm quite like visual, but property you can see it, you can touch it. There's an actual thing that you have to show for it. Yeah. So it's kind of a no-brainer, and we both just looked into it for there and saw that there was people making like good money from it and property courses later.
And we used mates in school, or
we mates for high school, mate. But the way I done it was probably really stupid. Like when we found that property sourcing was a thing, you done a course with it was Jamie York, Jamie York down south. You done a course and we were kind of getting into it, and then I just handed my notice into work one day.
He's within the course. I'll just pick up the heel
I was like, you can just teach me, and then I think I just didn't go back to work one day. I just hated it that much.
How did you find? Because a lot of people do the courses down south, but they're based in Scotland. I don't know if that's just maybe at the time limited or maybe out of kind of grasp to the other ones that are out there. But like from the down south stuff and the learnings that they teach you, again, nothing on that course specifically, but they'll be probably English focused. How do you think a lot of that relates to Scotland based on what you do now, if that makes sense?
Thinking back to it,
because I don't have things like home reports and all these.
But they were quite good in a way that when they were talking about it, they would go, right, okay, well in Scotland you've got this, in Wales you've got that, in England we've got.
So they're related.
They cover your areas, right? Okay.
I think for that, obviously I've seen a lot of the course content as well. If you've shown me it,
would you
all? It was a lot of a lie. I think I owe him a few quid for that.
He keeps mentioning
it. It was more so like fundamentals and stuff in it. So it was like more so like speaking to investors and stuff, which is what that course helped with. Because
I think like you're saying you're back against the wall. I think I was reading, is it that Sell It Like Serhant, that Ryan Serhant guy? And he was like saying sometimes if your back is against the wall, like that, a bit like yourself, Sean. You're like, well, I have no choice. It's not like
it's
you know, I'll just go back to my day job and it's easy.
Because my parents were saying to me, get qualified and then go and do whatever you want to do.
So you just quit an apprenticeship?
I quit an apprenticeship.
Third year in as well. Like,
so like,
close to...
I would have been close to qualifying, and I said, but I knew that if that was in the back of my head, I wouldn't have went 100% in the business, because I could always just fell back onto being an electrician. So it was like, you've heard the burn the boats analogy.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to invade an island, burn the boats, so you've got nothing to jump back onto. So that's kind of what it felt like, because I knew fine well that if I had that behind me, if times get tough, I'd have been like, I'll just go get another job as an electrician.
Aye.
So just to use that analogy, right? You've landed on the island, you've burnt all the boats, right? There's 25,000 screaming guys chasing you, right? That they speak the same language as you, and you're two 19-year-old guys.
Aye.
What? See what I'm doing there, bringing that round?
Aye.
I like that.
I was like,
That was before.
what confidence? How have you got confidence? Are you confident? Is it just a front? What is it?
Do you know what I
I
think
think we
it is,
were
mate?
trying to build a boat back there.
Aye, we
Shot down the players.
We've made a mess of us.
Tap in the fire.
Do you know what I think it is? Do you know what I think it is, mate? I think it's naivety, like just sheer naivety, where we didn't hold it to as much. What's the word I'm looking for here? We didn't realise how big the decision we were making was.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas, like, when your parents are concerned, you don't realise, because we're only 19 young boys, and we're like, we'll figure it out.
Aye, we can do this type thing.
I suppose as well, like when you're 19, obviously living at home as well, so you've got that kind of almost flexibility to go, I'll just go for it and see if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm still young enough to make these mistakes, and if it doesn't work in say 5 years' time, I'll be 5 years older, but I've learned or been successful in what I'm doing. But you can still go out there, almost get, I wouldn't say like not give a fuck, but like just really go for it without overthinking. Oh no, what if this happens and what if that happens and everything else. But you can just go out there and learn from the confidence. So that, I guess what you're saying is like, you know, speaking to your first investor, like was there were you confident then, or was it a bit of a like, shit, here's the first guy? Or
Aye, probably was a bit of that, but we're quite confident anyway. We're quite confident people anyway. So
it was
it wasn't something that was we were pure afflicted by, but I don't know.
That's hard though. It is hard. Like, we are confident, but as you said, it's like you're going into it and you're pretty clueless about everything. Like, so you sort of try to speak to people and relate to them, and it is hard, especially, you know yourself, most people that are buying properties are like older, they're between 30 and 50 pretty much, and you're trying to talk to them and it's like, oh, what age are you? 18? Come on, it's like, it is hard, but...
Did you just get a lot of that kind of backlash?
mate,
I can imagine you would.
But see, the thing is, there's an element of imposter syndrome regardless of what age you're. So like, you will probably experience it as well, whereas we've got the imposter syndrome kicking in, the doubt kicking in, then you're like, it's kind of like everything's stacked against you to not work, because you're 19-year-old speaking to affluent people who are a bit older, and straight away, like, you're at a disadvantage. But a lot of learnings come from that, do you know what I mean?
Aye, but that as well, where surely it comes through anyway from either like your on socials or just in person speaking to you, that even now, like, that kind of drive and hunger you've got as kind of young, want to be ambitious people, that should shine through from when investors are looking at you as well to go, right, they want us to go out there and, you know, get their teeth and get the work done for me.
You can look at it in a negative aspect and say, oh, we're too young, but some people like it. It's maybe marketable at times because it's full of energy.
I think it's positive rather than the other way. An older guy going, I know everything. I'll give you a wee bit of time. Whereas you're like, I'm going to give you all your time. I might not know everything, but if you ask me by the time I meet you again, I'll know everything about
it.
It's
the work ethic, that's what we've got in our favour. Work ethic and nothing to lose really. So just going for it 100%.
And do you still do anything out, like, so obviously, like I say, going back to when I was 20-year-old, I think out and about every weekend and whatever else was
that's
probably
a sense
the
of Sean, by the way.
I know. I'm trying to remember what I said when I was 20. But like, have you, like, how do you kind of combat that in terms of, so you have a group of pals as well out with property, like, oh, come on at the weekend, and all these are like sporty as well, and
right, no, there's definitely got to be a balance between it. And Lucas will say himself, I've got a huge group of pals, and we're all close. And I mean, we've been a sort of holiday with him every year since we've left school. We're going again in June. So I know personally for me, like, I'll have that holiday once a year. I'll have a couple of nights out a year, but that's it for me, because to be honest, I'm not interested in it. It's more negatives than positives for me.
There does need to be an element of balance, obviously, because if we just said we're going to work 7 days a week until we're 30, we would burn out or become
You'd regret that. You would regret that.
What is your pals saying? Like, I know sometimes a lot of people say that on Facebook groups you're going to get people that you thought were pals of yours that are just tanking you. And then you get other ones that are supportive.
I think we're dead fortunate. A lot of our mates are really supportive. Our family as well. Family really supportive.
I think at the start, like when you say you're going to try something, I feel like they were a bit like, all right, okay. But when we really tried it and they saw that we were putting ourselves out there, they were like, fair enough. Like,
it's maybe a bit. There was an initial support, and then it was like, oh, they're actually like being serious.
I kind of feel like, oh yes, I on you go, and then they go, actually, that's doing pretty
well.
Well done.
They're actually doing what they're saying they're going to do. Yep. So it's kind of, we're lucky in that sense. We've not got our mates and they try to hold us back. Essentially, they're not like, oh, come on, just come out of the weekend or that.
There's always some of the videos we post, they were like, but he's doing that at the start and stuff, but it's just a group of pals, you're going to get that.
It's just banter, innit? It's no personal.
It's just kind of boisterous stuff, do you know what I mean? Like, even when I was doing it, I'm 33 now. Even when I was doing it, like, in my 30s, I was still getting the same kind of jibs and jibes that you're probably getting in your 20s. It just changed. Just for me, it's probably just been lads and having a go and having a bit of laugh. But sometimes it can knock you a wee bit, going, oh shit, what are they actually thinking if they're saying that? But I think it's getting over that initial hurdle, innit? Like,
I think it's more so like, maybe, I don't know, my wee sister will slag me. And I'm like...
probably worse than your parents.
I'm like, remember, you're my wee sister, so you're not allowed to slag me, but I'm allowed to slag you, kind of.
But if she comments on your Facebook, and then maybe her dad sees it, and he's like, I'm thinking about buying a house, you're like, bingo, it's worked. So
I suppose. It can have an effect, can't it? But I see, at the end of the day, both of us are quite laid back anyway. Like, we can have that banter, and if somebody was to slag us for anything else, we wouldn't take it personal. So no take it personal for a business.
Yeah, and we do believe there probably is people out there like judging us negatively, but frankly, we don't care, because it's people that never really close pals with anyway, so it's like...
Even if they were, like, see if you want to do what you're doing just now and even trying to do something, like make any effort, people are still going to actually comment negative about you anyway and have opinions of you that you don't like either way.
Exactly.
So why don't you go and do something and actually try to be successful?
I feel like as soon as you try to break the mould, I'm not saying we're pure breaking the mould or reinventing the wheel, but as soon as you do something different, people are going to straight away have negative thoughts or try to judge you or bring you down anyway. So like you say, it's like
but I think it's good. Like when I met you like a while back, I think it's brilliant. Like if somebody like yourselves is going, we're going to do this. We don't know. We probably know 10% of what we should know. But see, by the time I meet you in a week, I'll know 20%. And do you know what I mean? And I think that's brilliant. I think that's amazing.
I would have been 18 when I first met you. I think I was 18 when I first met you.
Awesome. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, actually, you got me a deal. So there you go.
Exactly. The best one yet. The one he doesn't stop talking about. I'm needing a shout out for that. So it's...
He sourced the HMO in Montrose for me.
Nice.
There you go.
So touching on that though, it's just hard work. Like, it doesn't require... We've not got something that other people don't. It's just hard work and determination that I think it's maybe got us this wee bit of progress that we've made so far.
I've said that, but like, even the sources in general, or portfolio builders, or whatever kind of name tag you want to put on it, is like, we don't do anything that's out of the ordinary or magical. It's more just like the time we've got to invest in it, actually running the numbers on it, following up on offers, following up on lost leads, all the kind of things that investors can go and do themselves 100%, but they've not got the time and luxury to sit down and do that. They've got other things going on. They're in a different kind of line of work with the business professionals or the business professionals. Most of it's just that time aspect, is it? So there's nothing like special about it in that kind of way. But also there is other things where you join different networks, you build relationships with agents. So there's a lot of those things that sources can obviously do. 100%. But like you're saying, you can just pick up and really go for it if you wanted to.
I think a lot of people try it as well though, and they realise how hard it is. And there are a lot of knockbacks. It's hard to build momentum in sourcing. You'll know that yourself.
Yeah.
So like it's like there is a place for it. You do need people to do it. Essentially,
it's been persistent and constant all the time. And if you're talking about the videos, if somebody goes, that video was rubbish because of this and that, and the next thing you're like, all right, next day another video out. I'm like, it's just right off me. Cause
we definitely did get like a shock when we started. It took us a while. It took us a long while. When we started off separately, so we were working in sort of our own business at that point, and it was hard. It took us 8 months to actually see anything. Then 8 months, people hear that and go, it's 8 months, but 8 months, 5 days a week, at least 5-6 hours a day, and you're seeing nothing. It's hard, and people start it. I'm not saying that it is very possible for someone to go and in their first week they've got a deal and they make £3,000, but it is hard. Like, people got a wake up call.
There's a bit of fortune with it as well. Like, even to graft out for 8 months is, you look at some of the people who do really well at sourcing as well. It takes sometimes, it took me 5 or 6 months to get my first one as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it does take time, but back to you say, like, people think it's easy. Like, people think it's easy and get those knockbacks for 5-6 hours a day, 5 days a week for 2 months ago. This is shite. I'm not doing this, and walk away.
Because that is, a lot of people do that. You see that people burst onto the scene and then they fade away because they can't handle the constant rejection, or they're not relentless enough.
You could go. I'm pretty sure you guys went weeks or months without a deal, and then you got one, and then obviously I think it dried up for a couple of weeks, and you get like 3 in 1 week or something. Do you know what I mean? So like, it can very much be fluctuated in terms of that.
8 months without a deal, and then 5 in the 1 month.
Aye,
so
that's close.
But
I know there's something like that kind of trend.
But it's like you go, I don't know what I'm doing different, but it's almost like something's happened somewhere and it's clicked, and then suddenly you're noticed.
It's relentlessness though, because see, if you're not being relentless, you don't get that 5 in the 1 month. If you maybe take the foot off the gas because you go, we're not getting anywhere, and you feel sorry for yourself, you're not going to get anywhere with that attitude.
And if one of yous, I use both giving each other a kick up the arse.
Aye. I think we're pretty good at that. We hold each other accountable.
And make sure that if anything happens, like for example, your head injury, he's gone, you shouldn't be doing it.
Aye. But see, at the end of the day though, we're good enough mates outside business where he can turn around and tell me, get your finger out. And if I need to get my finger out, I'll not take it personal, and I will. So it's like, I think that's what's good about getting into business with your friends or family as well. Because I'm comfortable enough to tell him if I think he's slacking. Vice versa. Whereas if maybe you're going into business with somebody you don't really know, it can maybe be awkward. You're trying to be nice.
You gotta build up that trust before you even do that. But you had trust for like school, and then obviously coming through this together.
Mates through school, so that trust's already there.
Even when you were separate, you were actually. I mean, you did have separate companies, but you still helped each other in that kind of sense. You probably at one point went, "Well, and just put it together."
That's kind of what happened. It was last October we formed Landmark Investments. So like 6 months ago or something, and that was, we were kind of like, what are we doing? Why are we not doing this together?
I know, I'm so stupid. So what do you think, I'm going to ask, biggest, so you've started your business, you're all good, you're joining together, and then one of these, shite, I wish I'd seen that coming.
In terms of
just problem, anything at all that you went, oh, if I could stop time, go back, I would fix it. That'd be ready. What was a killer?
Take a drink of your shot while you think about it. That normally helps.
That'll throw me off for
turmeric.
This is turmeric. This is good.
What one's that again? Is that not the curry one you were saying?
It is the curry one. This cleanses part of your intestines. Good
How
for
does
you.
it do that?
It's lovely. I think you're much better if you just down these.
What, in the water?
Smelt it. I smelt it.
It smells better.
I can smell it for...
Cheers.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, lads.
Oh, no.
That's not as bad.
No, that was bad.
It's right in the back there, isn't it?
That's right in the back.
Mate, it's my nose.
It reaches the parts that other drinks don't reach.
See it before?
That's not right, but... it's not that bad. I've drank worse.
Mate, I hate spice at all.
Sean doesn't like spice at all. That's why I bring them in. He won't go past the corner. That's why I bring them in.
We had that curry networking night and I was raging. There was no korma.
No kormas. But nah.
So we didn't see that coming.
I didn't expect
that coming.
Did not see that coming.
Probably
that shot is the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Do you know? See, to answer that question, I would say probably ruthlessness of people. Like, didn't expect people to be so not unfriendly, because property's really friendly and everybody helps each other. But see, like, for example, if your numbers are off in a deal, people will just tell you ruthless. That's wrong. You need to fix that. That's what caught me back a wee bit. Like, definitely.
That's a brilliant answer.
Definitely ruthlessness.
Was that me?
I did think about you at the time.
Potentially, but like no badness. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't done because people were being nasty. It was done like that's wrong, and then it was maybe a light bulb moment. You're like, I'm maybe not as clued up as what I thought I was.
But the thing to give you that credit as well though is, because I remember the kind of first kind of deals you would say like, oh, like, if you get in for this, and I'd ask you like a million questions I normally would.
Yeah.
And then I looked at a deal a couple of weeks ago that you sent over, and like every question I would have had, you've actually knocked out the information already. So I'm like, you're still learning from the questions that are getting asked of you.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's still sitting in my throat. I mean, somebody's actually asking you oh, your numbers are like off there because of like, I'd hope like whenever I was doing it, I'd be like, oh, your numbers don't look quite right. I'm actually getting this here. I'd hope that people were doing that as well in terms of not just saying that's wrong and just leaving you to it. Like, why is it wrong? Obviously, everybody's still learning either. But even if I send a deal out and somebody goes, that's wrong, I'll go, how? He's like, oh, God, that streak's a fucking it's a dive and you actually get your numbers from around the corner, which is actually more affluent or whatever. So
but that's what you want, isn't it?
I think for that you can
exactly
easily you can like go into your cell again and go, oh, he's picking on me or something. But for us, it was like, for example, your cell, like learn for that. So any question he's going to ask us, prevent that from having to happen again, and go and get all that information before you send it to somebody else again.
I think as well, like when we started, like I feel like I've knew you very early on, Sean.
Yeah.
And so some of the worst deals we've ever had get sent to you, and as we said, like it's good for learning, 100%.
But like I'm saying, like I'd always try to put it in a sense of that's wrong because of this, and have you looked at this, or did you see this one here? And even with the refurb numbers, like refurb numbers can obviously vary with
100%
any deal. Do you know what I mean? Like you might be putting in for like, I don't know, like a wet wall, but I'm doing like a tile, for example. So that will always vary, but there's going to be elements that might get missed out, like, oh, you've actually not included like compliance here, or you've not included somebody stripped the wallpaper that's getting plastered. Do you know what I mean? So there's wee things like that will obviously come and go, but as long as somebody's giving you that feedback to say that is wrong because of this, and you can learn from it as well. So was that yours as well? Would you say the kind of ruthlessness, or if you get something different?
I would probably say, like, aye.
Can I ask you something maybe loaded on yours then?
Go for
it. What about
loaded?
I just remember a conversation that we can't discuss in much detail. But what about the fact that sometimes I think because it's your two, you guys grew up together, you both trust each other, you both share things, and I think sometimes I'm going to say maybe innocence, check this out, or I don't want to look in case you know where I'm going with this. Innocence,
I really don't know where you're going with
you might trust somebody to go, well, I'm expecting this to be done the same way. I'm expecting that they will give us the better deal. They would do this. Whereas there are people that I'm going to say are quite ruthless that would go, these guys are young. They're just on the park. I can murder this. I can have a bit of I can make more out of this.
Probably. I mean, I think when you start and you are a bit less clued up, you can maybe not realise how good of a deal you've got at the time or how bad it is. So people can maybe try and manipulate that a bit.
I think looking back at some of the deals we sold where we kick ourselves a wee bit, where like we could have maybe charged a better fee or something like that, to be fair, with some of them. But again, it's learning.
Good.
See
again, I was the whole point of why I said that just comes back in learning. So it's like, as you said, you can then look back on situations like that and go, right, okay, that's probably how I should have played that out at the time. I maybe I should have said that. Things should be said earlier on in the process instead of it's just
I don't think we've ever had anyone like take the mick out of us though.
No.
I don't think so anyway.
Good.
No.
Like coming from a kind of, again, that kind of, because you see a lot of the new technology stuff coming out, right? So I would not like to think, but I would think that people starting kind of younger, when I say younger, I mean like 20 odds and stuff like that.
Yep.
These are now not used, but like even people coming through, like will be maybe 16, 17, 18 now.
Yeah.
Coming through will have access to a lot more things like your chat GPTs and all these other technology.
Chat ABCs.
Whatever they're called, But like, do you use anything like that within your business, like tech wise, to keep us ahead of the game? Like you have maybe nobody else is doing.
He does all that.
Kinda. I feel like, especially when we were sort of coming on into property, we saw a lot of the like Facebook ads and stuff, and the way they were done, I was like, I think that's shite. Like genuinely, me and Lucas were on the same page. Like, I think that's rubbish, and if that's working, then this is easy sort of thing. Because I feel like we could provide a lot more to the sort of market, if you want to say that. And in terms of like AI and stuff, not really.
No, really, no.
I'm a big believer in seeing what works and just like pretty much copying it.
I think like my point there was like, so somebody like me, I'm pretty computer literate in terms of the software and stuff like that as well, whereas some other folk aren't that well versed in tech. But, no, but like there's
I've been training you on ChatGPT for
generations. I know there's some things in different generations that people use, but like to that point, a user coming through or I've came through, I kind of maybe a different social media
generation.
So you're used to the kind of shorter, kind of real stuff, and you're looking at these kind of long-winded ones, people talking and pretty boring, and like that does not work. So you know what's kind of going to grab people's attention.
It sounds cliche, but it's kind of like moving with the times, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're dead right, but it then also comes back to, right, well, who are you trying to target? Are you trying to target a 17-year-old that's scrolling forever? Probably
true.
not. Probably not.
So your ideal client for us is an older person who's maybe, like you said, not as literate on technology. So you need to tailor what you're putting out there as well. But
it's all right to get loads of eyes on you, but if it's the incorrect eyes, it's pointless.
In terms of like systems and that though, like for like Facebook ads and stuff, we've got systems in place, follow-up systems and stuff. That's more so what you specialise on, which is again is good why you have a partnership. I've got strengths and weaknesses, and so does Rio. So stuff like that with the Facebook ads, I'd have put my hand through the laptop. Honestly, I cannot do it.
We're not going to sit here and say we're generations ahead, because we're obviously not. But as I said, I just see what works and try and replicate it as best I can.
You relate to that with Lucas?
Is that
not getting on with the Facebook ads?
At times, aye.
What about so you've got the business, you started separately, you're young guys, you've kind of overcome that obstacle, you've got further on, you're building. How is that going? Where are you? What does it look like? Numbers? You don't have to be sharing your life with us, but percentage.
For us, we've gained a bit of momentum now. We like to say we're kind of in the middle part. So you've got people in the industry that are just starting and they're like fresh off the block, and then you've got people who are further down the line that are really experienced, doing well. We like to think we're in the middle. So we've got that momentum, but we're not quite where we want to be yet. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like deals and stuff, we've done 7 this year, but for us that's not enough, because we've got that mindset we want to do more. But for some people that would be really good. So again,
so
find myself in the middle.
In April.
Aye, what's your target?
Our target was 50.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of
deals high, mate.
Like still, that's still good.
No, 100%, and that's, we were speaking about it the other day. Like, I feel like we're behind target, and we probably are, but still happy. Like, if you sort of proper take a look back and go, right, I'm actually not doing too bad. But again, that's like Lucas was saying, we're so much striving for more.
But when you look at, obviously, so you're saying target's 50, which would be something to do quick last for me.
2 and a bit a month.
Yeah.
Aye. So you're thereabouts, do you know what I mean? So when you look at January and February, which can generally be a bit quieter anyway. You'll get peaks and troughs. Come back to like when you had no deals for 8 months and you get 5 in 1 month.
For us, it's just that consistency. As long as we're getting 2 a month,
yeah, no, that's
we can kind of be a wee bit comfortable.
I was sort of looking over it all the other day, and the business is profited every month. We've been doing it, so, and we've got genuine expenses every month, so that's another positive to take. So again, that's what Lucas always says. If you were to ask us last year that we would be in this situation now, then last year us would probably be happy enough with it. But it's like when you're here now, I'm like, we're not doing enough.
I think you're always going to want more when you see the success you can be having. So you're like, it's averaging say 2 a month just now. You're like, right, well, how can we not get 3 and 4? Like we can get them here. So
for us, it's
you're always going to get that.
It's easy to compare to other people in the industry and then get disheartened by what you're doing. So like you said, we're making good progress from where we started. This time last year, like you said, we'd be buzzing with where we are just now. But maybe you can compare yourself to other people in the industry and go, how am I not doing that, or how am I not at that level?
You shouldn't be doing that. You should be comparing against. I mean, and I think the 50 is a much better goal to go than to say 15.
Well, we always say that if you achieve your goals, you've not set them high enough.
Yep.
100%.
Like 50 for us was moderate. I was saying 100. I was trying to say 100, and then he'd say 50. So all right,
I think we done, what was it, 15 last year?
Nah, something like that.
So we were like, right, 50.
But that 15 last year was like the first 6 months of the year we were like finding our feet, didn't have a clue, kind of thing. So like picked a lot of momentum up towards the end of the year and thought, really want to push through on to build this year now. And
that whole kind of compare yourself, that I don't think that ever really sorts the matter. Could you get to say 50 deals and you're like, well, he's up there doing 150 a year or whatever, do you know what I mean? Like, you're always going to find somebody, I mean, you compare yourself against, but just to look up, not even look up to, but just look at going, well, that is, you know, that's what's achievable, but still be like happy in your own success, because you can sometimes forget you came from not doing any deals to now doing
comparisons and FIFA joy in it. If you continue, there's people bigger in every aspect of life than us, and financially or whatever it is you're looking to achieve. So
as you said, when you know there's people out there doing it, it's like sometimes when I'm speaking to my mum, I'm like, oh, we done this and we made this, and she's like, right, good, and I'm like, but there's people doing 15 of them a month. So it shows you what's possible.
It's definitely possible, but again, it'll come with time and experience. Again, yours are only 2021, do you know what I mean? So what would you guys say is probably the biggest, I think you may have done this on social media before, but your biggest misconceptions people have about property sourcing?
Misconceptions of property sourcers.
That they're clueless. I think I may be completely wrong here. I think sort of people who are buying often, they think, oh, there's a daft wee property sourcer who's brung me a property. Let's see if it's any good. But I know the way we function, it's like, well, we're not bringing anything to anyone unless it is a deal. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's like people just think, and again, this might be because of the amount of people that's sort of trying to come into the industry. It's like, right, there's this wee guy, and what's he got type thing.
Maybe the mindset needs to shift where it's like these people are actually working and putting in the graft in the industry instead of being so negative towards people. It's kind of, I feel like it's creating a divide between like property sourcers and investors because people are potentially attaching bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't think there should be a divide.
No, but equally, if you think an investor, if you met an investor who was 19, you wouldn't judge him that way.
Aye,
you'd be like, there wouldn't be an age point on it. You just go, he's got money to invest, and then if he'd done all the checks and he had the money, that wouldn't cross your mind.
I think it just means not even just age thing. It's just like property sources in general. People have this misconception of they're just out to give you like shitty deals, or they went on Rightmove and went,
well, you're not buying it yourself.
Offers over 80 and they've got it for 70.5 and charging a $6,000 fee. Like there is people.
But see, to be fair, right, I can kind of understand the misconception because there has been a surge of people coming into the industry doing property sourcing, and it's saturated the industry and it's left bad impressions because people are coming off maybe the back of courses and they're making an arse out.
And we've been there. We've literally been there. So it's
so we can speak from experience, but we've just managed to get past that.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people kind of come in, do the first 3 months, and then it's negative for everybody else in the industry. That it makes it worse for us, harder for us anyway, I would say.
Yeah, and I suppose there's a lot of guys. I think I read somewhere that it says that only 30% of people that go on courses actually make it. And I think even out of that 30%, it's quite right that reputational people will. It's almost like, estate agents, traffic wardens, that type of thing. It's like a reputation that you've already got before you've even started, before you've kicked the ball.
Do you know what? I'd say you're dead right. Like, and 100%. Before you've even spoke to somebody, there's already a negative impression on you.
And the biggest thing is people tell you nowadays, and you probably heard it as well, is when you go to an estate agent, don't say you're a property sourcer. I mean, they've got a bad connotation of what a property sourcer is.
See, I don't understand that though, because a lot of estate agents we work with, we help them and we sell properties that they couldn't sell.
That's what I mean, like some who do buy into it in terms of doing work with you, they'll build up reputation. There's loads of people who do great work with agents, but I think that's where it's harder to get your foot in the door with agents because they've got that they're a property sourcer.
Then again, you need to
tire kickers or whatever else.
I think you need to understand that for the estate agent's point as well. How many people have they got trying to get their foot in the door?
That's what I mean.
That are time wasters.
Yeah.
In terms of misconceptions as well, I would say misconceptions. People think it's just maybe, for our example, just two young boys trying to make a quick buck and leave,
con you,
or try to rob you, or try to sell you a dummy deal. For us, we're trying to build a trading business, like a proper legitimate business. But it's not like a side hustle for us. It's not like something we're just doing, maybe make a few quid in this. It's like a living.
It's like a hobby kind of thing. Like,
it's a living. It's a business that we're trying to build. So.
Like this is it for us. So if it doesn't work, then we're in the bin. So that's why we're kind of like reputation's everything now, especially if we're going to be doing it the next 15 years.
Because Rio, you mentioned there that people go, why are you not buying it yourself? Right. So what happens if I'm coming to you going, I'm not interested in that deal, why are you not buying it yourself? How do you deal with potential customers or clients? Like,
tell them I've got no money. That's why I'm not buying it. Pretty much. No, well, there's incentives for why we're in this industry. Right now, we don't feel like we're best placed to start investing in property. I think it would be a waste of time, to be honest. Further down the line, there's obviously a time and a place for it. You see people in the industry that are the same. We think we'll make most of our money focusing most of our time on our trading business. So if we were to then take our concentration for the trading business and start growing our own portfolio, which is going to take time to compound, I think that's...
it's another incentive for the buyer, because then the best deals that pop up, it's going to go to your clients. We're not going to snap it up yet. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
We're not in the position to buy, so we're bringing the best. I think
it's also one of the ones as well, is your goals and ambitions, right? So they're obviously want to grow a business and they're still in the early stages of that, so they're not going to start going, right, well, the money we've got here and put it into a buy-to-let, we want to continue to grow this, and maybe somebody else in to start doing me bits, and we can focus on this and start getting somebody else in to work on this, and that money can go towards that. So it's about what they're trying to achieve in that time, and the investing side will come. It's not that like I get that question as well. Like, well, why have you not done it? I was like, because it wasn't part of the agenda for me. It was to get out the 9 to 5
because it's not what I'm
and
doing.
have trading and have that. It was never that.
Like you said, we've got different incentives. We're trying to scale our business. We're not trying to scale our property portfolio.
Yeah.
The time will come when we've scaled our business enough where we can go, right,
That
we're going
will
to
be the
fill
next
in our
ambition.
portfolio now.
Yeah, 100%.
But that, for us, that's not anytime soon.
And do you do lots of calls? Is it face-to-face? How does it work?
Everything, mate. Everything.
With who, like,
With clients? Anybody?
Everything, mate. We're massive on, like, volume negates luck. So we're constantly in Facebook groups, messaging people. We send 100 messages a day each, Monday to Thursday, because we work the weekends. So 100 messages a day. We're going to find somebody. And that's...
So is that investors, sellers, mixture?
Investors. One day we'll do investors, one day we'll do sellers, one day we'll do, like, professionals.
Often
like
we find anyway, if you're sending a message that's targeted to sellers, if someone's buying, they'll text you back and go, no, I'm actually buying as well, mate. So if you see it and let me know, you're like, oh, are you okay? And then you start talking to them that way.
So for us, it's...
two birds, one stone type.
We're kind of not acquiring clients through social media, but we kind of are, and then we grow a personal relationship with them first. So we'll go and meet them, sit down for a coffee, get to know them.
Always try and get them in front of us and
face to face.
introduce
Because
I feel like personally, I can't really get to know a person through WhatsApp or maybe through phone calls. I like going and meeting them, knowing what their incentives are.
Yeah.
It helps us deliver a better service if we actually know who they are.
Aye.
If we know why they're investing for whatever reason. So
I was messaging a guy on Facebook the other day and he was like, send me what you've got. And I was like, well, I've not got anything now because normally they just sell right away or they're rubbish type thing. And then he was like, right, okay. And I said, do you want to meet for a coffee? And he was not giving me the time of day at all. And I was like, well, do you know what then? See you later, because you're not the type of person I like to work with. As Lucas says, like, as soon as I meet you and I actually understand you and I begin to like you, I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to go find this guy a property.
It's kind of like you're vetting people before you work with them and waste your time. I think if the amount of people that reply to our messages and say, oh, I invest, blah, 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 then you send them something and then they ghost you. So it's like time wasting. So we like to get down in front of them and know they actually are legit and they do what they say they do. We'd rather work with 10 people who actually do what they say they do than however many people that don't.
We found that out majorly quickly.
Because it sounds like you're... A lot of sourcers were just bring it in, sell it, punt it as quick as, but it sounds like yours is quite... you probably created a new model where like a tailored approach that you go...
That's that, aye.
I'm going to find things that suit you, and I know you do the same, Sean, right? I'm going to find things that do you, whereas I know a lot of people just go... 3 bed, here's a 3 bed, or 2, like pass it out as quick as and don't give a monkeys. Whereas I think it's a better way you're doing it, because the guy might turn around and go, I've got 140 grand and I want a portfolio, and you're like, leave it with us. And I think that's a really commended. That's a much better way of working.
Like, what have you got? Like, nothing for you, because I don't know you.
Literally.
I don't know if you can buy. I don't know if you're a tie kicker. I don't know if you're
I don't know who you are.
I'm
not saying, obviously, with the time, you don't need to go and meet every person. That doesn't need to happen. We just prefer that to happen. And I feel like, see, if you've got that personal relationship with somebody and you know, you care about them obviously, but you're going to be more careful in your search for their property because you actually know them, I think.
That's
so maybe
service you're giving them as well.
Do you know what I mean? Your service is going to be better because you actually have a relationship with the person. It's not just somebody off Facebook where you get the people that are just like, just sell him that and remove him, never speak to him again, because it could be a do you know what I mean? Or like, just forget about that deal. We want to deliver the best service.
Good. So talk us through the one deal that's taught you the most, whether it be like right or wrong, like taught you the best or taught you the, like, I don't know, any experience from that one deal there's got to be that one deal that sticks with you, whether it be your first one or one deal along the line.
There's been 2 this year.
There's been 2 this year.
One of the ones was we had a deal lined up, and it was an on-market deal with an agent. It had been sitting on the market for a while, kind of talking back and forth with the agent, and they sent us the deal, went out and viewed it, lined up a buyer. The buyer actually wanted to view the property, so the buyers travelled from Edinburgh, I think it was. Viewed the property, everything was fine, formal offer accepted, and then the solicitor for the seller advised the seller not to take the offer, and then we were just... So like stuff like that.
Because the seller needed a certain amount of money left over for whatever, and I was like, right, okay, I understand that, but you're telling me between the seller, the agent and the solicitor, yous have not had this conversation previously that you need X amount. Do you know what I mean? The seller was like, right, okay, I'll take that offer. Solicitors went, no, because you need that left over. And I'm like, what? Like,
more so as well. It
your
was
client's viewed it, your client's ready to go. You've wasted my time, you've wasted their time, all because you three never knew that you needed whatever.
And what would you do differently? What would you, like, forget solicitor, right? Because
what would we do differently there? Use a different agent. Use a different agent.
Ask the question though, like, get everybody thoroughly on the same page here when it's an offer, because it was a discounted offer, but it had been sticking on the market for a while. So in terms of what we would do differently, just make sure that the seller's 100% on board with that offer. But then again, it's one of the ones because
they've accepted it.
They accepted it, and the seller said they needed it. They needed some money left over, but that was leaving them with some money left over. I think the solicitor.
So the money left over, was that like paid off a mortgage or loans or whatever?
I can't remember. I think it was a personal situation.
It was to a family member in a care home.
Right,
so I said, right, that's fine. I understand that, but you're telling me you've not had that discussion previously. Do you know what I mean?
No, it should be one of the...
Again, by the way, we need this for the house because this needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's just a massive waste of time for them.
What about the other way?
In terms of...
Good one. Easy one.
None. There's been no easy ones.
I actually don't think we've done an easy deal yet.
That has been another thing for us as well. Like, you think it's... And obviously it can happen just as easy as you get the offer in, sells in a couple of weeks. But especially last year, it was as if every deal there was just... an issue pop up. Tenant's not leaving.
Tenant's been evicted. We had an eviction from February to, when did that go through, to October or something?
Something like that.
Which is actually short in the grand scale of things.
Mm-hmm. So what are you doing? Sorry, just take a wee step back here then. So you've got relationships with guys, they're selling a property, you've got relationships with investors that want to buy it. Are you just being that middleman? Because you're talking about why you get involved with tenants and moving out or any of that?
No, so we're just being the middleman between the sellers and the buyers essentially, but we're talking, that's the difficulties that are popping up throughout the sale, which is dragging the deal on, which means we don't get paid or stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like every deal had one of these situations that popped up.
Yeah, like that one example, the landlord we were working with was happy to take this offer. We had a guy that was happy to buy it at that price, but the issue was the tenant. The buyer wasn't buying it with the tenant in place because obviously you know yourself that the tenant can just turn around and say, I'm not leaving. Wasn't paying rent, by the way.
And wrecked the place.
So the deal was
getting evicted right
we weren't getting the paid until it was done, pretty much. So we had to sort of step in and take stuff to do.
And the seller was back and forward on holiday and stuff, so we were constantly updating buyers, sellers. We work with a couple of solicitors, so we tie in with solicitors during conveyancing, and we're constantly chasing the seller solicitor for an update for the buyer solicitor, and it's like stuff like that doesn't get mentioned.
I was going to say that goes back to that misconception of what the socials do. That's his service side of it. It's not just like there's a deal you deal with. It's more we're in the middle trying to transact every
100%.
But it helps though. Like
there's a guy with the orchestra who does that. Conductor.
I prefer it though because we're constantly we're constantly up to date though. Like we hate sitting with deals and then we don't know what's happening. So if a seller's using a solicitor, we recommend, or a buyer's using a solicitor, we recommend. We've always got our finger on the pulse, and that way our services.
You need to be, because we've learned before that if you sell the deal and you think it's all fine and dandy, a couple of weeks later, slaps you right in the face.
We've been there. In control of what's happening with it and at every stage. When's it concluding? Chasing up on that week and everything else. Like that's what a good social should be doing for you. If there's a deal, go and handle it yourself. That's just a trade-off, do you know what I mean? But these are doing very similar to myself in terms of that service based.
In terms of good things that have happened in deals, though, I think like when you sell a deal and your numbers are bang on, the end value comes out bang on, and the rent is exactly what you said it was going to be, that's more satisfying. So that's probably a good thing that comes out of a deal.
And repeat customers.
And we had a great deal in Paisley as well. The seller was absolutely over the moon. We managed to sell this.
The woman that she was absolutely in a bit of a financial bother. So that's probably a good thing that's came out of the deal as well. Like
that one was really smooth.
Actually helping people.
Smooth.
Helping people.
That's not the kind of monetary side of it. That's just that kind of personal satisfaction that you've actually provided a service to. Not even the money side of it. They've obviously got what they wanted out of it, but they can see the joy in their faces. Like
she actually phoned me crying. Like, see when the sale completed, I can remember me and you were just sitting in a coffee and she phoned me crying. Like that really took a lot of weight off my shoulders.
And as people forget that kind of burden you're taking from them as well. So good.
But the other thing I suppose you probably don't even realise is like, so you talked about that buyer there. He wants, he's like, I want this house without a tenant in it, without a renter in it. He's going to come back to you because some other sources are just going, here it is. Oh, by the way, there's one in there. You're going to have to deal with that. Whereas you're like that. I'm taking care of all of that for you.
Yeah.
The time you get it, you've got an empty house, and by the way, I'm going to get it refurbed for you, maybe, or I'm going to. Do you know what I mean? That he's no expecting.
That's the thing. Like people, as we spoke about before, people that are brand new might think, "Well, I don't know anything about that." Neither did we. I messaged Willie. Shout out to Willie. And I says, look, this is what's happening and I need help, I need advice, and he just helped me with it, and I was able to pass that on. So I was able to give expert advice without being an expert, and obviously I learned it
so
myself.
Utilising that team round about that you built
Exactly.
as well
Utilising
through
your network,
contacts,
really,
100%.
But and like a lot of people would have maybe panicked when they were faced with that situation, but it's important you just go head first into it, and just instead of running away from it, just face it and sort it, and the buyer got a cracking deal on the back end of that. Really good deal. So
But it's like I know a lot of people are like, no, I don't do that. No. But it should always be yes. It should be yes.
Like,
always.
See, if one of your clients asked us within reason to do something that they couldn't do, we would always try and find a way to sort it, regardless of what it is.
Aye, because he's coming back for the next
Because you know, exactly. You know, if you're going to be helpful for people, they're going to continue to come back.
It's not that one transaction, that relationship you are
Which is, again,
on
touches on the misconceptions. We're not here for a quick buck. We're here to build a reputation and build a trading business that's going to run for the foreseeable, really.
Right. But take us back, so 6 months, October, you formally or officially came together. So take us back 6 months prior to coming together. What's kind of one thing you wish you'd known before bringing that together? Would it be
that you should work together?
Business?
Is that one of the things?
He likes a lie in the morning, pretty much.
It's
coming out now.
He doesn't listen to doctors.
But what's one thing we
wish you'd known
about?
Aye, so 6 months prior to set it up, but what's one thing you wish you'd known? So a year ago now.
I don't like him that much. But, I don't know. But
that's a good question.
I've never thought about that.
I think like where we were when we were separate, we've been working together since halfway through last year. We were obviously like, excuse me, we were like, right, what's the company going to be? What's the branding going to be? How we want to do things? So we were in talks since like the middle of last year, but when we were truly separate, like it was hard, as I said, we weren't getting any progress, we weren't seeing any progress. So we were like, right, do you know what? Joining together, it makes sense. We may as well just see how it goes.
In terms of what I wish I knew was, I think we kind of expected it to just explode after we joined together. And then I don't know about you, but I kind of got a wee bit taken aback. I was like, all right, we actually still need to go out and do the work here.
Nothing's changed, really.
Rio's going to cover all it.
Nothing's changed, really. We've just got our Instagram together and we've got a tracksuit.
Pretty much,
really. Do you know what I mean? So then it was like, right, time to start working again.
Because when I met you, I thought you were together anyway.
Everybody thought that.
And then when you started doing the videos and stuff, it became more official, I think. And that's when it made a bit of sense.
How do you stay motivated then? Like what's the focus to get you through, I guess, the kind of tough ones when the deals fall through and everything else? So have you got motivations between, because I know you keep each other accountable and stuff like that, but
probably
like, what gets you through?
Bounce off each other a lot. But I think we're dead lucky that we're mates and we've got the same mindset, but I think it's quite hard. We're striving for a really great life and we think we've got the same mindsets and aspirations, so that definitely helps.
And you're also like very, both I know you do boxing, you done weightlifting, didn't you?
Yeah.
Aye, so like have you got like habit, because you'll be like habits and routine within that side of life, but do you bring that into the property world to keep each other?
The discipline kind of thing, like for the boxing and you're non-stop in the gym and stuff, discipline definitely keeps you motivated.
Aye.
But like motivation comes and goes. Like some days I'll be high as a kite and you're dead negative, and then it's vice versa. But it is generally discipline, and I think it helps having Rio.
I think as well, like going back, it's like if I'm not going to do this, then God knows what I'm going to do type thing. So you don't, what is it to say? You don't fail unless, don't give up, you don't fail type thing.
You don't
so
fail
like,
unless you stop.
Just don't give up is what I keep
saying. But you quite enjoy doing it, do you?
I go like that.
Better than being a spark.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, don't be wrong, I know the company could be better, but apart from that.
No, it's good, mate.
Okay.
It's good.
No, I'm passionate for it. I look forward to waking up the next day.
Exactly. Especially like our routine, when we're in our routine, I love it, genuinely. Love it.
So you've got your 50 days, right? I'm going to ask you.
50 days?
50 properties, sorry.
Yeah.
By the end. Everybody always sets 25,000 goals at the beginning of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What other ones? What about expansion of the company? What about other things you're looking at?
So for us, social media presence was huge.
Wrote them down, yeah.
So we're looking to potentially, we're trying to save up some money to hire a social media kind of person for the company. Manager, social media manager.
This guy's useless, honestly. Social media person.
No, social media manager, and we're looking to kind of grow a lettings agency as well. Something that we're looking to add on to the company.
So is that the vision for the next 2 to 5 years, is to get a lettings in there as well? And
some point this year we would like to set it up and get it going off the ground.
But aside for that, we've got our goals written down. It's whatever amount of followers, so 1,000 followers on the landmark page. Hire a social media manager, 50 properties.
Do a project. We want to get our hands on a project.
Yeah.
Like our own kind of project.
I know people will be like, oh, well, your goals obviously can't mean that much if you can't remember them, but that is our main goals, pretty much.
They've obviously
they're big goals.
Deals and social.
Presence, business expansion. Yeah. That's the kind of things we're looking to nail it. But our goals, we didn't just write down goals on a sheet of paper. We wrote down goals and then how we're going to achieve it, and then what daily habits we need to contribute to achieving that. So like our goal sheet for the 50 deals isn't just do 50 deals, it's do 50 deals.
Like 15
and then
pages.
3 pages of explanation as to how we think we're going to do 50 deals, because I go with a plan's just a dream into it. Like,
it's just a line on
it's just a list. Like anybody could say, oh, my goal's to make £1 million this year. How you got to do that? There's no substance to it unless you've got a plan.
What about training and stuff like that, or anything? Do you use or like online or videos? And how do you? I mean, you've talked about letting, you've talked about social media. You obviously know social media, but how do you use constantly learn and keep up to date? What are you doing?
Constantly consuming educational content. Like it's a thing. Another daily habit. Touching back on the daily habits. That we both watch at least one educational property video a day, or like kind of social media video a day. So instead of like sitting down at night eating your dinner, instead of watching the telly, just put on. I'd be quite like Alex Hormozy, his kind of stuff. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
Something like that, or even like your guys' podcast when you get somebody on, other podcasts in the industry, just watching stuff like that, and you're constantly learning in the car, listening to podcasts.
Learning from each other as well, as I say, is like, I'm a big believer in seeing what works and copying it. So like, go out and speak to the people, see what they're doing, pick their brain a bit, and we're also planning on doing like marketing courses as well at some point, because it's huge. It's everything nowadays.
Sales kind of courses and stuff, but to make sure we're covering ourselves in every avenue.
I know somebody that's running a sales course soon.
Sorry, should Sean?
Listen, don't, because I've been like bursting him about
it. Don't, because he's rubbish.
No. The only person that's not doing it is Sean. He's fed up listening to me moaning about it.
I honestly think you should.
But I think with courses, a lot of the time, you go on a course, you think, I'm just going to step out this course and that's me going to buy 15 houses and source 700 this week. And then you fall on your arse and nothing happens. And I think so. It's good that you're almost like learning, so that by the time you get to a sales thing, you go, I get that, and you're actually only refining what you already know, rather than just, I know nothing about this.
You're not going in blind.
I think for me it's the monetary commitment as well. Like if you've paid the money, then you're going to utilise the course. You're going to do what it's told you to do, type thing. Especially when I done the course earlier on, it was like, right, I'm doing this, but I'm seeing nothing, but I've also paid the money for it, so I've got to keep going. I'm going to make it work.
For us as well, like for everything we consume a piece of content, we want to make sure some of our actions change because of that. So like if we're just watching stuff and nothing's changing, it's just pointless. You'd be as well as just watching the telly. Really. So like, and that's where it's quite handy with us 2 years. We can cover double the ground. So I can go, right, I'm going to start watching sales content. You keep your finger on the pulse with everything that's happening, the rental market through property podcasts, and then you're up to date with that, I'm up to date with sales, and then when we see each other the next day, it's, what did you watch last night? I watched so-and-so's video, or I watched this, and then you're telling each other. So I'm learning off your time as well, and he's learning off my time.
And that's really good as well, because a lot of people do watch that YouTube clips or whatever else maybe, and some people just watch and go, I know, I seen that last night. What did you take from it?
I can actually remember.
Did you get any actions taken from it? Did you implement anything you've taken from it?
I can remember one time I was sitting in the living room. I live with my big brother, and I was watching a podcast, and the podcast finished. He said, "What'd you learn for that?" And I was like, he was like, "Just taking the mic," and I was like, "Oh, don't actually know." And that's when the kind of light bulb moment. I was like, "I'm just watching this for the sake of watching it."
Time.
So now it's like actually really nailing down. Like, make sure you're actually consuming something here, and you're changing an action because of what you just watched.
I've got I read somewhere that I do a lot of Audible books, right? And I buy the book as well. And I think I read this thing that if you do it in Audible one,
read it at the same time,
it brings in 70%.
I've seen that.
It was his book I was doing it with. And actually, if you look at I've got his book, and if you look, I've got lines all the way through it, and see now, where it might normally take, it says 3 hours reading of the book, might take me 4 days, 5 days now, because I'm actually stopping it and then writing.
And thinking about
it. Notes about it, which is...
He can't read, so he can't do that.
Audible was like the greatest invention in the world.
I watched the Alex Hormozy videos on his website, and I was writing everything down when I was listening to it, watching it, sorry. But some things he would say, and I'd go, I need to watch that again. I'd write it out, and I'd watch it again, and make sure I'm really understanding it, instead of just going, right, I've watched that and I've wrote it all down. Next video, do you know what I mean? It's pointless.
You find that it's like a 12-minute video on YouTube and you've sat there for like an hour dissecting this video, and then you're like, God.
I think especially with Hormozy, there's a lot of depth to it. I mean, I'm not a stupid boy, so I feel like my brain's quite decent, but I know when I'm watching it, I'm like, right, I need to watch that again. I need to really understand it. There's a lot of depth.
Saying, nobody watch a 12-minute video and going, right, done, next one. Just like, did you understand what was just said? If you don't, like, go and figure it. Like, I'll even sometimes go, like, I say I'm quite intellectual. So wow,
brainy.
I'm a bit brainy, but I can pick up on things. I'm coachable, and I'll sometimes like read something or watch something. Go, I've not got a clue. Like, it could be like a phrase or a sentence or a topic that they've mentioned in there, but he doesn't go any like deeper into it. I'll go, right, okay, go and find someone else that actually talks about this, then come back to go, right, okay, I understand what that's I mean. So but you're not taking that video, just going in somebody else and find what other resource can help you back up what they're saying and give you a deeper knowledge on it.
Touching back in the question though, like, we know it's worth it because we're becoming better versions of ourselves and delivering a better service on the back of everything that we're consuming, essentially. So it you could technically say that's working on the business, not in the business, because we're working to become better versions of ourselves.
But also, I'm going to say this, like, we are not perfect. So I remember I used to watch things and I used to listen to people say things and go, oh, I'm not like that. I couldn't do that. The thing is, like, we like to do other stuff. We're not going to sit here and say 24 hours a day, we're consuming this and that and we're learning this and that, because we're not. Like, you'll catch me watching rubbish, like complete rubbish, because we're all human. Like,
you're young guys as well.
Exactly, mate. So
we're big on being authentic. Like, we're not going to try and sit here and say that if I'm not working for 12 hours a day, 365 days a year, I'm watching Hormozy videos while I'm sleeping. There's an essence.
It's not realistic.
You've got things outside of that you still do and focus and hobbies and
got a lot of hobbies, mate.
Like, you still need to find that balance in time, because if it was just all that, you'd burn out so quickly.
For me, that helps you go. Like, that helps you go further if you've got the kind of distractions. For me, it's boxing and like lifestyle fitness and stuff. You're kind of the same.
Aye.
So
round a golf or whatever.
It gives you a kind of exit, a wee break, and then
because I know personally, I've been there where I've been like, right, that's that, I'm doing this every day, and it's rubbish. Like, balance. Some people argue against balance, but bullshit, mate. You need balance.
Yeah, and people that argue, I think people that argue against balance are just lying.
There's no way you're doing all of that and enjoying it.
So I've just got a couple of weird. Something just occurred to me.
Sorry, I went a bit of rant.
No, I'm not trying to give you more work, or I'm not trying to give you extra goals. But I just thought of some young guys started if kind of like scratch, if we can, and then built up. Is there an option or a thinking? Because I'm sure there's young guys out there that would go, I want to work with him. Is there an option that you are going to mentor people in the future? I know you have.
Aye.
I think you should.
Aye.
That's where I'm going with.
Aye. That's something we've spoken about. But
have we?
No anytime soon. No, we have. That's something we've spoken about, but no anytime soon.
I think I'd be stupid to say no. Like, the now, definitely no. But when I'm 35, maybe.
Maybe not even that old.
No, I was going to say
25, maybe.
25, that's what I was.
18, 19. But I think if you've been through a few years, you've learned this, you've sourced X amount of deals, you've maybe even started your own portfolio. Like, what can you pass on to people who are 18, 19?
See, for us, that can relate to you. With the greatest respect, can relate to Sean.
That is the thing, though. Like, we have actually spoke about it in detail before. Like, we'll be relatable no matter what, because we're never going to get carried away regardless of how much money we make, because we've got each other to keep each other grounded. So we can offer a same mentorship. I don't quite like that word, but you can offer. You know what I mean? Like, you're offering as mentorship. But you're relatable. You're no
nothing but mentorship.
You're not sitting in your Lamborghini pretending to be something you're not. You can be relatable and actually.
No, I think that's work. I had a guy about 6 weeks ago, an older guy came and says, "Can you help me?" Now, I wouldn't expect him to come to you, but 25, 18-year-olds I would expect would come to you and they wouldn't talk to me at all because they'd say, I see what you're doing, I'm really impressed with it, and it might be something you want to jump on. But if you wait till you're 35, you're too late.
Well, aye, maybe you're right, aye.
No
but
pressure.
That's why I wanted to say that about, like, we do get up to other things rather than work and learn things, because, as I said, I used to listen to people that would say things like that, and I'm like, oh, that's not me, man, that's not me. But
you paint yourself to be just a pure robot if you're like that. Like, we're still human, we're still people at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask a weird question because I went to my son's parents' evening and it was really weird.
I'm nervous every time he gets a question.
So we're playing that game you were mentioning a floor.
Still the first weird question.
No. And so I think when we were all young, or when I was young and I was at school and they're like, what you want to be? And I think you were either like, I'm going to be a pilot in the RAF, I'm going to be a football player, I'm going to be this or that, the next thing. But it was a job.
Yep.
Right? I don't know what you done, Sean. What was yours what are you going to be?
Oh, I changed it every year, I think.
What were yours? Like when the teacher says, what are you going to be?
I always had that in my head I was got to be a football player. But in terms of serious ones, when I realised I can't play football, I don't think I've ever had one.
I tell you why.
I'm going to be a trillionaire entrepreneur.
Bang.
No, I'm kidding.
No. I asked my son and all his pals, every single one of them, I'm going to be rich.
No, rich,
Rich wasn't a thing that came
Nowadays
into my head or probably yourselves. It was a career.
We used to sit in school and like Google highest salary jobs in the UK and go, right, we'll just do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. See when we were sort of leaving school, that's when you started to see it more on social media. So these people doing trading, crypto, people in Dubai with Lamborghinis, people have started to clock on, like, what is happening here? Like, how are these people earning this money? So I think there has been a bit of mentality change, especially since when we left school. A lot more people have
for me, it
realised
was, in terms of stuff like that, it was I always want to have loads of money.
Because I used to want to be like some sort of high-paying engineering job, so like aerospace engineering or something like that. But as I said, when I left school, I started seeing this stuff, and I'm sure that high school kids are seeing the same now.
Aye, it's the mentality things change. My wife's pal in Dubai, she was living in Dubai, wasn't getting paid well, so she just looked up highest paying jobs I can do with the smallest time to get there.
Yeah.
And they went, because of your degree, you can do 2 years as a lawyer and you'll get this salary. And she picked the job based on the money.
Well, that's what I done. I used to Google highest paying engineering job, and I think aerospace is like 2. Like,
so it's a different mindset now, isn't it? Maybe I'm just old.
Is that would that not be a thing when you were at school?
No.
It's
people just
pick a trade, pick a career.
That'd be a
Because
nurse.
I think but when you were getting advice off people that, like your parents, for me anyway, like obviously it comes from a place of concern, but it was like, get a good job, get a mortgage, get a family,
to uni.
Get to uni.
Career.
For you would have been uni. I think he got an A in every exam he done through to 6th year. So I can understand why your parents were a wee bit concerned when you said, you're coming to work with me, do you know what I mean?
When I left school and I was like, right, I'm not going to uni, they were like, what are you doing then?
But that is definitely
When
a
worked in a
mindset,
warehouse.
mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset shift. You know.
Can I talk now?
Mindset
shift.
But just being respectful of time, obviously, anyway, and just sort of keep you too long.
Cool.
Too many houses to sell.
That's
But
it,
people want to reach out, obviously social handles, want to do work with you, like what services do you offer and how do they get in touch?
So we've got our joint business pages on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok. That's just Landmark Investments. Find that obviously dead easy to find. And then we've got personal pages for property stuff as well. Yours is just Real McLaughlin.
Real_McLaughlin.
Mine's just Lucas Houston Property.
We'll put it in the description part as well.
Cool.
But,
and as we said, we're kind of looking to work with more buyers at the moment, because majority of our deals that come in, we're sort of looking to team up with other people. So we're looking for that direct exit to more clients.
So you're getting the leads in for people looking to sell, but you're looking for
the
that.
stock's not an
for
issue
more
at the
buyers.
moment. It's more acquiring clients.
So if you're looking for deals, come
get
That's
us.
hit you up.
Across anywhere?
Anywhere. Central Belt Scotland.
But investors anywhere?
Take investors anywhere, aye. We'll work with investors for anywhere. And our main area is Central Belt Scotland.
As we said, we prefer meeting people, but we also do have people that aren't in this country. So you're not going to say no to them because you can't have a coffee with them. Do you know what I mean?
Like I say, we were talking about earlier, just go out to Dubai and meet them.
It's a long flight for a coffee, isn't it?
I know. Cool. Give it up.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great to meet you guys, as
cheers,
always.
Thanks very
for
much.
coming on,
Thanks for having us on, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.